So this in here is one of the first things that we were noticing. Like, we have all this broken stuff. There's broken stuff back here. This has been broken and twisted, which is like a common call of these things. They seems as though they randomly will break things, and they twist them too as they break them. So the twist is one of the things that keeps us off. And then the next thing was this rock sitting here on this log.
Interesting.
And as we've said, one of the things that we hear a lot from these guys are knocks and rock clacks. Just like that.
Well, one thing, try to pretend I'm not here with cameras.
It's okay.
Oh, it's good? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you're good. Okay.
Yeah, maybe he looks at it's not.
Okay.
Well, you know, and remember 2 nights before that, we got one single knock so loud that we heard it above the sound of the generator. And it was down in this corner of the creek.
Yep.
And then 2 days later, you're back here finding these tracks, and you find that rock sitting on top of this log. Very interesting.
Yeah.
And see him do that. A close-up of the
All right. Maybe tell me about this rock again here.
Alright, so a rock on a log is just not something you'd expect to find on its own. It's not going to get there by itself, so something had to put it up there. And one of the things that we hear are clacks and knocks, which sound like, you know, rocks clacking together or wood knocking together, or the two of them. So this sounds just like the knocks that we hear randomly out here.
Do it again because she missed it.
So we've left the rock there. Of course, we come back and check it, and we're always looking. We're going to be looking to see if it's been moved or if it's even still there, basically.
And I've got the clip recorded on my laptop if they want to hear the 2 nights before the knock that we heard, because I clipped it and saved it on my laptop, so
Yep.
you can actually hear it. It's probably from this spot with that rock.
Wait, tell Blair, tell Shane, like Shane again. Tell me
Let me
about
see. And
getting-
Dan, let me get you over there just so I don't get you in my shot.
Go back to what now?
just the recording that sound.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, remember, so 2 nights before that, you know, I had the recorders going outside of the camp, and we heard that knock. Even though I had the generator going, I was in the kitchen, and I said, man, that was louder. I heard that over the sound of the generator. So it was so incredibly loud, and I was able to save that knock, and it happened somewhere in this corner of the creek. Now we found this. That tells me that very possibly that could be the origination of that sound that night.
So this is just one of the few things back here. You know, as we started searching this area, we're coming across all these little things that are just odd and that we shouldn't be finding necessarily. So this little piece of the puzzle.
And unless somebody can tell us a natural way that a rock ends up on top of a log in the middle of this brush like that, I'm willing to listen.
This is what we've had sitting here for several days. This is a 6.5-inch possible track. When you first look at this, it doesn't seem like much, but I'd be willing to bet once we cast this, that this big toe right here is going to show. And we've got some depressions where the other toes were. So this isn't like a pristine, awesome track, but we've been hoping and praying and waiting for something like this to happen. This gives us an opportunity to habituate a possible subject from a younger age, which is, in terms of what we've already done with a few that were older, or seem to be older, bigger tracks and whatnot, it's given us basically a window of 3 years, 4 years maybe, to habituate the subjects. This may give us 5 or 6 years, depending on, you know, exactly what's happening.
And this is not an isolated track. It's one of 3 or 4 that you can see the walk pattern where there's another one and another one and 2 or 3 more times. This just happens to be the best.
Yeah, I'm fixing to show you 4 more of these. There's 5 altogether that I could really pick out and put together. So
How do you know how to find it? I mean, because I would never.
So I grew up tracking with my uncle and my dad, who were hunters, and that after I had my experience, I kind of stayed out of the woods as a kid for a while. But once I got back into the woods, that tracking, like once you learn that, you don't really unlearn it. And when I discovered the first group of these things in 2013, that was like the natural way for my mind to go, was if I'm having a hard time seeing these things, I'm gonna have to track them. So I really started focusing on the things that they do as far as manipulating the things around them as they walk. So that's part of it too. It's not just finding the impressions of the tracks, but you're also looking for things like that, the twists and the breaks that they seem to do almost, it's like they don't even think about it, like it's a pick. Like as they're walking, they'll reach out in front of them and break a branch or a sapling as they're going by. So it's those things too, but more than anything, it's just practice. I've done a lot of it over time. Some of it is like, there's an old saying, you don't look through the woods, you look into the woods. And it's the same thing when you're looking for tracks. Sometimes you have to get down at like ground level and look at the ground, and you'll see things that you don't normally see, looking downward. So some of it is just angles. Sometimes it's the light being perfect at the time that you're there. There's a lot of things that come into play. I've missed tracks, like compressions and tracks, and the following day found them because the sun was in a different spot. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Well, also, Shane, as Shane was explaining to me, the disturbance that he was talking about earlier that was in the grass that initially put him onto this, he saw where either two tracks came together or they split apart, and he just followed them to see where it led, and one came around this way and showed that there was tracks involved. When they get to a place where you can find tracks, but initially it was just something moving through the brush until you find a track.
Yeah, to get to this, to find this right here, I spent 2 hours back here filming all this. I was over in this area behind us for probably 30 minutes, not finding anything that I could call a compression or a track before I made my way over here. So a lot of it is just basically setting a perimeter and then a grid pattern, and then going through that grid pattern with a fine comb. And great tracks, they're easy to spot. But stuff like this, you have to spend time, a lot of time, really looking at things.
I'm not even going to take any of these leaves out or anything because I want to get that toe. You can see where that toe is nice and laid in there. I don't want to change that at all. I want to go ahead and just,
let's pull a few.
Yeah, some of these
from the side,
like
here.
This stick has to go because I can't push down through this stick. So if you can pull that stick.
That's a root. Here, I'll just pull it back.
Yeah. The ground is so dry.
It is dry right there.
But that could give us a...
Yeah, let's pull a few of those out. That may help. Ooh.
We're going to make it a little bit thicker because we need to...
Also, before it gets too dark, let's look at these other tracks back here.
I'm going to start...
I'm going to show you where these tracks lead to, which is a hole that still has the stick in it that dug the hole. It was used to dig the hole.
I'm going to start mixing some hydrocal.
Another thing that we find out here is these holes, these random holes that are being dug. And usually I find them after, like within 24 hours of rain. We assume they're digging worms or grubs or something. But it also seems to be that we only find these young ones around. As they get older, we're not seeing evidence that they're doing this. So that was one of the clues that there may be a young one. And now we have possible tracks that are going to help. So basically right now he's just adding the hydrocal, the powder, to the water, and he's going to mix that up. He's going to pour it in really slowly and try not to, we don't want to pour, like for instance this one, instead of pouring directly into the track, we'll probably pour into this corner and let it fill up into the track. If we pour into the track, because of the substrate, it's going to mess the track up. What we're trying not to do.
You're caught between wanting to get details by making it thin and then making it thick enough to not soak up too much of the dirt. So
that's probably going to run out this side over here.
Well, we could actually, we could actually get a rock and set it on top of it so it kind of holds it, pushes it down.
While he's mixing that, you want to check out these other tracks real quick. There you go. So there is, what?
We'll follow him and you can still going.
Okay.
That's the only thing important here.
So here's another possible. You can see the grass is pushed on. There's a small possible toe there. Yeah, so this is a possible track. The next one is right here. You can see all this is smashed in here. So this would just be considered a compression, right? And the distance between these two and those two is real close. Right? So we can say that's most likely the next step. The next step is right here that I could find.